Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Kirby, for having me. I appreciate it. So, good afternoon. My name is Nathan Downey. I'm the Field Environmental Compliance Manager for Civitas Resources in the DJ Basin. This afternoon, I want to spend some time focusing on methane detection and action from the perspective of a field-based employee. So before we dive in, we need to do a little housekeeping regarding my presence and presentation. The views, opinions, and information presented in this presentation are solely my own and do not reflect the views, opinions, or policies of any organization or company. So now to why we're all here. Today we'll walk through methane detection and action from a field-based employee experience, then include a high-level review of novel technologies, discuss some early learnings, and then wrap up with a question and answer session. The goal today is for everyone to understand a little more about the why, the who, and the how around methane detection and action in the field. So let's start with what is meant by the field and field experience. Despite what the show landmen may call it, the oil industry jargon calls oil and gas working locations the field. In our industry speak, to have field experience or to be based in the field indicates that you have worked on oil and gas locations in some capacity. Some examples are working as a field operator, lease operator, worked in maintenance, measurement technologies, inspecting facilities, or many other areas that are considered field-centric. It also indicates that you sit primarily in a field office rather than some sort of a corporate office, downtown Denver, for example. It also indicates that we sometimes use field experience to differentiate from other functions in our companies that sit further from day-to-day operations like legal or accounting functions. For me personally, I started in the oil and gas field in Colorado about 12 years ago. I started in oil and gas because I heard there was a need for lease operators to work on and maintain active facilities. This piqued my interest as I enjoyed working with my hands and taking existing ideas or issues and coming up with better ways to address, fix things, even executing new ideas. Over time, I switched from being a lease operator to working in maintenance, project coordinator at Crestone Peak Resources. At this time, formal leak detection and repair programs were just beginning. Many of the functions that are now housed in a formal leak detection and repair program, LDAR for short, lived in that maintenance realm. Since I was part of the maintenance team and had multifaceted experience, I was offered the opportunity to work with the Crestone environmental team and run an optical gas imaging camera while continuing to help complete the required maintenance work. When Civitas formed, I moved over to our new team and in time took the opportunity to manage our field environmental compliance team, including LDAR and more. With this, I want to share today some insights on these programs from the field point of view, so more understand the program and its overall value. To celebrate and highlight over a decade of a formal and largely successful LDAR program in Colorado, I chose LDAR as a case study for what we can learn from the field. In 2014, Colorado approved the first regulations in the nation, requiring energy companies to comply by routinely checking and fixing equipment that is found to be leaking methane. In a Denver Business Journal archive from 2016, the director of APCD was quoted saying, "We've seen a significant decrease in the number of facilities where we're seeing leaks, and we think that's a reflection that vigilance and maintenance pays off, and that regular inspection of facilities that have many components that can leak over time makes sense." Since 2014, the Colorado field has been detecting and taking action on detected methane leaks all across the state. To continue highlighting the value, we've seen where field crews across Colorado have helped complete over 4.5 million LDAR inspections since the program's inception in 2014. The total is excluding 2016 and 2024, of which are not yet publicly available. We know this has reduced tons, both literally and figuratively, of methane and VOCs, volatile organic compounds, that are produced into the environment. A massive outcome of the last 10 years of the LDAR program has been the thousands and thousands of hours focused on Colorado oil and gas locations' air quality. For example, if you assume an LDAR inspection takes 30 minutes at a small facility, which is not uncommon, you'll understand that millions of hours have been spent focused on Colorado oil and gas locations over the last decade. Those millions of hours have trained hundreds of field personnel to be air quality experts, many of whom still work in the state of Colorado or have moved elsewhere to help develop and lead LDAR programs. The LDAR program has created an enormous wealth of knowledge in the Colorado field. As we all collectively move into the next phase of LDAR with novel technologies and greater focus on methane mitigation, I have been involved in advising our Civitas team on ways that we can be as successful as possible with new efforts. As I work with our Civitas team, I want to ensure that the field's perspective, the knowledge we have gained, the experts we have become, is valued and shared. To that end, I encourage regulators, operators, contractors, vendors, anyone in the space to seek the opinion of the field team. That could be coordinating with your coworkers or with your clients. It might be seeking out opportunities in your network or with a trade organization. There are several opportunities for us all to advocate for improvements within the specialized focused area within the oil and gas industry. Civitas, like many operators in Colorado and beyond, has deployed novel or new leak detection technology, which is a great way for us to continue to evolve and grow our program. I want to spend a few minutes talking through some of my and our experiences. Since I've had the opportunity to begin working with the new generation of leak detection and repair technology back in 2020, I have seen the technology opportunities multiply. As we have seen throughout our industry, we are experiencing an influx of new vendors and technologies that we can choose to implement. Over the past 4 years, both at Crestone Peak and now Civitas, I have been able to interact with and utilize a wide variety of technologies, which have helped us with our LDAR program. We have utilized a mixture of satellite, aerial, fence line, and other technologies to monitor locations remotely, enabling the field team to more quickly find potential issues and address confirmed issues. Of these, we commonly utilize drone and/or planes for aerial perspective, installed fence line monitors, which are a perimeter style sensor, laser-based tools with extended reach capability, and even remote-mounted aerial OGI cameras. A lot of these technologies will send us data over cellular or via internet uplink, so it saves a lot of time going to the field. Even more, we are putting detectors on fixed-wing and non-fixed-wing aircraft and even satellites to be able to detect faster and monitor these issues until they can be resolved. In addition, we have a team of field compliance specialists who routinely visit each field location to inspect with handheld optical gas imaging cameras. Our team spends a majority of their daily time on site at field locations completing inspections to find leaks, correct leaks, and reporting the outcomes of their on-site inspections and repairs. It has been really amazing and exciting to see the advancements in the field of study so rapidly over the past 4 years. At the beginning of my work with novel technologies, there was a heavy focus primarily on more rapid detection, especially at facility fence lines. The thought was this would help to alert the teams to emissions leaving the facility. Because of this, early on, Civitas deployed several different types of fence line monitors selected by their legacy companies. And today, we still employ many of those monitoring systems, even with the advancements in technology. One thing to note is that the field rapidly grew and has shifted again from novel leak detection and repair to even better technologies focused on leak quantification or leak detection, quantification, and repair. Civitas has been an early adopter of some of these quantification technologies and has been piloting several different solutions over the past 2 years to expand our program. The quantification program, while still relatively new, is changing daily and the equipment is constantly improving. All the technologies have great benefits when used in the right capacity for each organization. The right capacity is determined by business goals, needs, facility types, in-house expertise, and overall available budgets. Overall, the technology available is good, it's innovative, and it's always improving thanks to our early learnings from the program. When I think about the early learnings from the last 4 years, it is highly based around the novel measurement, both in LDAR and LDAR with quantification, that have impacted our program. There are several things I want to share. First, what started as a program utilizing only basic photoionization detectors, PIDs, a lot of people still use them today, has moved on to optical gas imaging cameras and has now morphed into more significant technology, as outlined earlier, because of those early learnings. As I've already said, there are multiple different types of equipment that can be chosen to accomplish the task of LDAR and LDAR with quantification. The early program structure, data, and technologies have helped us to see these vast improvements. Based on our industry learnings and my personal experience, I have chosen to structure my team's focus and prioritization with a boots on the ground type method of inspection. We also utilize many different types of continuous monitoring technologies that I've previously mentioned for the times that my field's not in the team, my team's not in the field or on site inspecting our facilities. I look at it as a benefit to having the ability to know what is going on at the facility without needing to be there. All of this is due to the trial and early learnings of technology and program structures we've implemented over the year. From a day-to-day perspective, what do these technologies mean for the field? New things to learn. Everybody likes to learn new things in their jobs, right? We are always looking for new efficiencies without compromising the integrity of our field environmental program. These early learnings and new technologies have certainly meant more requirements day-to-day for the field staff. This ranges from checking more dashboards or reviewing alerts from multiple systems. In addition to the alerts, we are sending additional feedback to our vendors who are interested in the results of their technology in real-life field conditions. As part of our program, we are partnering with universities or responding to regulator requests for more data, all of which have become part of our program due to the early learnings and the interests of stakeholders outside of our company. Something that can get lost in the excitement of these programs is that everything we do must be done with safety at the forefront of everyone's mind. This is not something that at Civitas, at least, we will compromise on. Field teams have firsthand knowledge of how something that seems benign may compromise safety in unexpected ways. This is an area that I stress strongly must be considered, as safety is not optional. Another aspect of safety that can easily be forgotten is not diverting attention in too many directions so that safety becomes compromised. As new data becomes available, lots of folks are appropriately excited to see the data, digest the data, and use the data to drive new decisions. As such, we are seeing an uptick in reporting requirements from various avenues. This is all a balance to provide new, exciting data sources while staying focused on the core objectives, which is to find, fix, and prevent methane leaks. As we see a shift towards additional desktop communication with new technologies, which includes more screens, reviewing of those screens, I always want to be conscious of the balance between identifying leaks via desktop and spending the time in the field identifying and fixing those leaks. Another finding top of mind is that despite best efforts, regulatory programs from local governments all the way to international voluntary programs have different frameworks for what tools and partnerships can be used for leak detection, quantification, and repair. Operators are relying on flexibility in these programs to design their programs that can meet all of the different regulatory and technology standards. I believe strongly that different technologies work for different assets, different operators, and different organizations. With this, we base our technology and partner decisions around local government regulations, state regulations such as Reg 7, and more, other programs that we've been involved in. We found at Civitas that a blend of technologies helps support us best and meet our requirements or exceed those requirements. As a mid-sized operator, Civitas sits in the middle of really large international operators and more local one-basin operators. We were born out of several transactions over the past few years. For our asset portfolio, for our company size, and for our company age, we've learned several things very quickly. It is probably impossible to categorize our facilities into buckets. For example, having facility prototypes 1, 2, 3 may work well for some operators, but not really possible when Civitas set out to complete our task in 2022. Companies will inherit or divest technology choices. When Civitas formed, we had lots of different technology partnerships, and it takes time to understand the value add of all these different pieces. To that end, operators need to invest time and expertise to screen these technologies. We have vendors reaching out to us constantly. We have had to quickly develop in-house expertise with technologies to screen and assess what will work and what will not work for our company. As many of us know, most products need a test drive in real-world conditions. I encourage everyone to remember that many operators are taking risks with newer technology or ideas and deploying them in real-world conditions. Sometimes the outcomes are not what we want, and sometimes they meet or exceed our expectations. This area of study is moving at a lightning pace. Academic papers are being published as operators are implementing technologies for Reg 7 requirements, Subpart W reporting, and voluntary programs. I cannot emphasize enough the need for flexibility and a curious mindset as we move forward with these new technologies. With all of this in mind, it's noteworthy to understand that Civitas and many other operators here today are excited to adopt new technologies in the area of LDAR and LDAR with quantification. I have dedicated my career and many waking hours to finding, fixing, and now quantifying leaks. This is something I care deeply about and believe in the real benefit to the greater good. For everyone here interested in this topic, operators, regulators, community leaders, research, and try out the different technologies for yourself if you have the opportunity. You may be surprised at what you see through an optical gas imaging camera, or how heavy certain equipment is to carry around, and other things you may learn through your research and trials. If I can leave you with one recommendation today, please don't forget to talk to the field. They may have some innovative ideas and understand what it's like to spend time in these real-world situations. And with that, thank you. And Kirby, do we have any time for questions? Awesome. Seeing no questions, we can probably head to the steak fry. Thank you.